Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today, our group going to show you guys how to do a traverse step by step. So let's start. First task is the job. Make sure you know all about your site and make sure you get all the information before we proceed to the next step. Step 2, survey equipment. Next, I will pass to Alif Najmi.
Hi, my name is Nur Al-Rajmi. To do a complete traversing, we need one total station, 3 tripod, and 2 prism. For one prism is a back bearing, and the second one is a 4 bearing.
Next is the site survey. While doing the site survey, I'm going to explain the definition of the traversing. Traversing is a type of a survey in which a number of connected survey lines form the framework, and the direction and length of the survey line are measured with the help of an angle measurement instrument and tape or chain or electronic distance measurement. There are two types of survey, which is closed survey. When the line forms circuit which ends at the starting point, it is known as a closed traverse. While open traverse, when the line forms a circuit ends elsewhere except starting point, it is said to be an open traverse. So the purpose of traverse is to locate the unknown point relative to each other and located all points within the traverse relative to a common grid. Now let's get back to the video and we'll show you guys on set up tripod and start the work of survey.
Right, my name is Fahim. So the first step for this traversing, the first thing that we need to do is by planting the nail, or should I say create a new station, create new station for the traversing. And then the next step, we can create a station, another station over there. So there'll be the first station. This is like the second station. Another one is the third station. The next part will be explained by my friend named Amani.
First thing we need to do is we must unscrew all the clamp above this, and then we lift up and make sure this level is on your chest. Then we set up this tripod on our station and make sure the center is within the point of the station. Leg is safe for the total station. Okay, next we must set up our total station on the tripod. Make sure we hold like this. For next step, we must use this optical plummet to target our station. For the next step, we must target again and loose up this screw and slowly adjust this total station to get our station point. And then we tight it again. Okay, after we target the center of the station, we must make sure the bubble is in the circle line. So, to adjust the bubble, we must play with the tripod plate. Next step is we create the back station. The back station consists of prism and one tripod. To set up prism, the setup is totally same with the like total station. We must make sure the height is between our chest level. To make sure the bubble is target the station, like this. To make sure the station is stable. You see the vertical is already center and the circle is also center. Then we target the prism to our station. Amani.
For this step, we are going to measure the distance and the bearing. Before we start, we must target our total station to back bearing, which is our first station. And now we are currently sitting on the second station. Once we are target, we lock the total station. And now we're going to set our assumed bearing using the compass. Once we get the bearing from the compass, we key in. And then click the measuring button to get the distance and the bearing for our first station. And Fahim will jot down the bearing and the measure and the distance. Then next we are going to target to our third station. Rotate the total station clockwise and start measure our third station on the prism. Make sure that we are target in the middle of the prism to get a better result. And click the measure button to get the bearing and the distance. Once we get the data, we can jot down the data in the booking book. And this is our face left. Now we are going to rotate to the face right. As you guys can see, this is the same step like before, but we are on the face right. We're going to target our first station again, but in this time with face right, measuring button is on the left side. Once we have target, click the button and it will be calculate the bearing and distance, and we get the data jot down in the booking book. Once we get the data, we're going to rotate the total station clockwise and target our third station. And click the measure. Once receive the data, we put it in the booking book. This step will be repeat for the next station, which is station 3, station 4, and we going back to the station 1.
Here is our booking for traverse. We start the booking use assumed bearing, which is 220 degree, 0 minute and 30 second. As we can see, we start the survey by targeting from station 2 to 1 and then target the fourth site, which is station 3. For the mean value, we must write based on the face left fourth side bearing that already mean by adding the value face left and face right and then divide by 2. Same goes as the final distance, which is face left distance and face right distance. We add it and then divide by 2 and then we get the final distance. After calculate the mean bearing, we must know what is mean closure for each the traverse. We must remember these 4 important steps, which is first, line 1, 2 that we observe, line 1, 2 that supposedly been observed, Tikayan and C correction. For this traverse, line 1, 2 being observed is 40 degree, 0 minute, 26 second. After minus the line that supposedly been observed, which is 40 degree, 0 minute, 30 second, we get the value is negative 4 second in 4 station, which is station 2, 3, 4 and 1. Example, we get the positive value here. We must minus at C correction. So, but right now the Tikayan is in 4 station, so we divide this value into 4 station so that we get 0.1 second for each station. So in here, in the second row, we must put plus 0.1 second, and then for the second row we increase the value, which is 0.2 second, and then 0.3 second, and lastly 0.4 second. We can see after we add 4 second, we get the value same as the first one, and then our traverse is correctly by using C correction. After we get the bearing that have been corrected and the final distance for each station, we proceed to the next step, which is Bowditch method calculation.
After we get the final results of bearing and distance from the traverse booking, we will use the Bowditch method to get the accuracy and linear misclosure of the traverse. First, we need to list the final bearing and distance in this table according to each traverse line. The first step of Bowditch method is we need to calculate the latitude and depart value for each traverse line. By using this formula, which is to get the latitude value, the distance is multiplied by cos and bearing, and for the depart value, distance is multiplied by sin and bearing. As for the latitude, if the value is negative, it will be on the south, and if the value is positive, it will be on north. Same goes to the depart value. The east represents the positive value and west is for negative value. After done calculate the value of latitude and depart, we need to total up the value of total final distance and total latitude and depart. Next, get the misclosure value or the difference of latitude and depart in order to calculate the accuracy of our traverse. The accuracy of traverse can be calculated by using this formula, which is square root of different latitude square plus with the different depart square, and the accuracy we get is 0.01112. The final linear misclosure is to determine the class of our traverse. By using this formula, the ratio we get is 1/14,925, which is first class traverse. According to this statement, the first class traverse must exceed more than 1/8,000, while the second class traverse is below than 1/8,000 and minimum is 1/5,000. After we get the traverse line and we get the true linear of our traverse, we can proceed to calculate the adjusted latitude and depart. This is the formula to get the adjusted value of latitude and depart, which for latitude
we must use the missed closure of negative 0.001, and for depart is negative 0.011. And also, the final coordinate can be calculated by using the adjusted lattice and depart value.